Ethan Calloway had lived on his 150-acre lake ranch in northern Minnesota for over 2 decades. What most people didn't know was that a large portion of his property was part of a state-protected reserve forest, a designation his late father had secured. The land was his to enjoy, but its ecosystem was under strict environmental protection. Cutting trees without a permit carried heavy fines and even criminal charges. The new HOA across the lake didn't know that. The trouble started in early spring when the HOA president, Sandra Briggs, came to discuss a new lakeside beautification plan. Ethan politely told her he wasn't interested, but she kept talking about how clearing the shoreline would improve property values for everyone. A few weeks later, Ethan returned from a supply run to find the unmistakable buzz of chainsaws echoing across the water. His stomach sank. When he reached the southern edge of his land, he froze in disbelief. Half a dozen men in safety vests, contracted by the HOA, were cutting down mature pines and maples, stacking the logs in neat piles. Sandra stood nearby with a clipboard directing them. "What in the hell do you think you're doing?" Ethan shouted. Sandra looked up casually. "Improving the view. These trees were blocking the lakefront. You should be thanking us." Ethan stepped forward, voice low but sharp. "Those trees are part of a state-protected reserve. Every single one you cut down is a violation of environmental law." She scoffed. "Don't be dramatic. The HOA has authority here." "Not over me. Not over this land," Ethan said. "And now, not over the fines you're about to get." He took dozens of photos, videos of the chainsaws running, and clear shots of the stumps. Then he called the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. 2 days later, DNR officers arrived with state police in tow. The investigation was swift. The HOA's hired crew admitted Sandra had authorized the work without verifying land ownership. The fine was brutal: $12,000 per tree, multiplied by the 33 they had cut, plus restoration costs and mandatory replanting under state supervision. Ethan didn't have to lift a finger. His role was simply to stand on his dock and watch the DNR serve Sandra the paperwork. She looked pale enough to faint. The replanting began that fall, with the HOA footing every dime of the work. And under the settlement, the HOA was required to post a permanent sign at the property boundary: state-protected forest, trespass and destruction prohibited by law. Every time Ethan walked past it, he smiled. Sometimes, he swore he could still hear the echo of Sandra's gasp when she learned the fines would cost more than the HOA's entire annual budget.